Thankfully, we're all now at a point where we've bought every board game we need and no more are being released. But we still need something to spend our money on. That's where accessories come in.
Let's pour one out for the plastic baggie who protected, collected all you could need. But now my flat's covered in cheap polythene and I'm addicted to drugs because they come with one free. As a form of storage, it's antiquated. There's an easier way to keep your bits separated. It's time for your cards to be liberated and to save your meeples from being suffocated. Imagine if every game would provide us with a custom-made grid of plastic dividers. Instead, the publishers choose to deride us with an insert as welcome as type B hepatitis.
Other board game accessories are about luxury, about enhancing the visual tactile experience of your games, whereas board game organization is about practicality and time saving. Every time you set up and pack away a game, you're wasting time. Time you could be playing a game. If you've got your in-game Euro efficiency engine cracked, it's time to optimize your life as well. There's levels to this. Level 0 is using the pathetic insert that the game comes with. If it's a Fantasy Flight game, then it's more like level -3. Occasionally you luck out with something like Dice Forge, but as soon as you start sleeving your cards or get expansions, it becomes a problem. Level 1 is plastic baggies. They're cheap and easy to get hold of. eBay is a good place to go. Search for grip seal bags. If you get yourself in deep like I did, you'll end up buying extra thick ones because you don't like the way the thin ones crinkle up. I don't get out of bed for less than 400 gauge, but then I have a problem. Level 2 is where things get interesting. Baggies are fiddly. Opening up 10 different bags for all your different bits and then just pouring them out on the table, it's not quite right. What you need is a storage solution that holds your tokens on the table too. Geek boxes are a plastic box with a lid, but they're really well sized to fit a good selection of tokens or resources. They fit into most boxes and make it really easy to set up a game. You can even set up little player pots with starting resources. It stops you from having a messy table. I can put away a game so quickly and easily. I went through my whole collection and anywhere where I could replace baggies with geek boxes, I have. If the tokens will need to be stored in a pile on the table, they're in a geek box now instead. Level 3, the pinnacle of board game organization, is custom inserts.
A good insert's like finding a sports bra that fits. It's firm, well designed to take care of your bits. You feel more taken care of than a night at the Ritz, and when things start to move, it doesn't spill out your chits.
The most common type of custom insert is made from laser cut wood. Here are some you can buy. This is the Dead of Winter insert from the Broken Token. Broken Token ones often have these great card holders where the cards are a bit slanted so that they can fit in the box. Each of these has got a divider that you can put in at your own spot, but with this one, they actually have recommendations and it's actually etched onto the bit of wood as to where you would put things, which is great because then you know, okay, location 2 cards go here. And then you've got a removable tray here, which keeps your heroes in one side and your zombies in another side. Then you've got this token tray, which is great for all your noise tokens, barricades, injuries and stuff like that. Then you've got one for dice, and that's about it. This is one where the structure stays in, so the cards will have to be taken out. I think that's a little bit disappointing that there isn't a card tray, because you are always kind of taking crossroads cards in the game. It's kind of a simplistic insert. That does mean that it was very easy to put together. In fact, a lot of it slots together. And I believe that with the Broken Token, you don't have to use glue, although it would definitely be recommended to make it that bit sturdier. You've just got this structure, and these things are very simple to glue together. And then this is just a big structure where you are just slotting in these card dividers. So there isn't a whole lot of setup in terms of building the insert, but it does mean that then you don't have a lot of separate parts you can spread out on the table, so you're kind of losing out that way. I like the wood that they've used. It fits it all in, and there's even a bit of extra space here for other stuff, so I can't fault it really. This is the Robinson Crusoe insert from Daedalus Productions. So you've got all of your scenarios at the top here, you've got the characters, and you've got a lot of separate little trays with this one. It's quite a tricky one to put together, certainly fiddly, but it means that it's very intricately made. They are having to cram in a lot of content because it's not just the base game, but you can also fit in a lot of the stuff from the Voyage of the Beagle expansion. And I like that the trays are nice and small because then it means they're not taking up as much table space. Daedalus definitely are keen on having setup and tear down very quickly, but Also, I think they're great for during play, that table organization, because you've got everything out but in a nice way. They've got a really nice wood with this one that I did find sticky when I was putting it together, but it does seem to have sort of calmed down now. But it's just got a nice grain to it, and especially for this particular game, like, it just really fits the theme, I find. On the trays, they're all engraved. So here it'll say non-perishable food and fur and wood and food. So telling you where to keep stuff. Then you've got stuff for the expansion. So it's clearly marked Beagle event cards. Then you've got the different decks. Of course, there's a lot of decks. I think you could probably play with them out on the table, or you could just slop them out. This is one of the best bits. It's a token tray that stores there's so many tiny different tokens for Robinson Crusoe. And at the top, it's etched in what everything is. Some of them are just icons showing you like a heart symbol or a skull symbol. And then this lid comes off and they're all stored in very intricate fashion. This was very tricky to put together. And that's kind of the running theme with this insert, is that it stores things in a really neat way. There's so many tiny bits for Robinson Crusoe and it keeps them all compartmentalized, but it just meant that it's a complicated insert to put together. If you've got the time, then great. So everything comes out. If you need it, you can have it out on the table. The only thing is now I can't remember how to put it all back in the box, and I'll have to consult a guide as to how it all slots together. It isn't the most intuitive in that respect, unless you're playing the game all the time. And I did find that it didn't quite fit all of the Voyage of the Beagle stuff that I was hoping for. I was struggling to be able to get in this book with this ring binder. I definitely appreciate the intricacies and the detail that they've gone to, and it's definitely the best looking insert that I own. That is the Robinson Crusoe insert from Daedalus Productions. This is the Zombicide Black Plague insert from Go7 Gaming. Has a recess for the rulebooks. It fits in the Wolfsburg one as well. And you've got these removable trays. What I like about this one is that everything's removable. There's no sort of core insert that stays in the box. So you've got here a pot for your survivors, and they've got these really cool removable name tags. So here I've put in the necromancer, so you know where things are, but also if your friends are helping you put it back in, they know where things go. I always find it's quite tricky to let other people do it because they just put things in the wrong places. The cards come in their own little boxes that slot on top of each other. And so you've got dividers here. You could divide up different sets of cards. You could put your discards on one side if you wanted to play using it during the game. It fits in sleeved cards, like premium sleeves, perfectly. This is the best bit. This is where you keep all of the zombie miniatures. So you've got walkers, fatties, runners, and it keeps the wolves as well. And it's just really quick to be able to just pull stuff out when at the end of the round you're flipping over the card, you know that you need 2 walkers and a fatty. And also for when you're killing them off, they can just go straight back in here. So I always keep this out on the table. Then you've got a box here that keeps the dashboards. And also I've kept in, it fits in like a huge stack of character cards. Then you've got this token box. Again, it's got a lid on it. And this is great for having by the side of a game. So you've got your dice. You've got all the doors that you're going to need. Noise tokens. Zombie spawn points. Then at the bottom here, it's also removable. You've got all of the boards. And what I like about this is a little recess just to be able to take them out without having to kind of fiddle around. And you've got spaces for some extra miniatures here, so you could put the heroes that you like playing with or something like that. Little bit disappointed by their choice of wood because it's a fiber board. It's just very rough to the touch, doesn't look very nice, but it is very sturdy. What's really great is it comes with extra dividers. So if you want to put a divider into this pot here so that you can have certain type of heroes on this side and something else on this side, then they give you loads of extra bits to be able to customize it just how you want to store things. I've been able to fit in quite a lot of the Kickstarter and expansion content. It really sort of depends how much you want to divide it out. If you're happy to just put in all the survivors in together, then you're going to get a lot into this box. But they do sell an insert for the Wolfsburg expansion, so if you wanted to spread it out across 2 boxes, then you'd be able to do it in a bit more of a methodical manner. That is the Zombicide Black Plague insert from Go7 Gaming. This is the Merchants and Marauders insert for Game Guard, and one of the things I love about this is simply that there is a Merchants and Marauders insert because it's not as popular as a game as some of the others that I've covered, and it's really packing everything in. So this has the expansion, the Seas of Glory expansion in there as well. So you've got the board, obviously the rule books on top. Then you've got these different sideboards for the player boards. You've got the player boards here. There are some recesses for things to slot in so they go in the right place. Can be a little bit fiddly to pack back in. Not so many removable parts, partly because they're cramming a lot in. So just like the broken token, you've got the cards divided up by section at the bottom. So that's really good because you can just take out each deck that you're going to need and they're exactly the right size. Then in the middle here, you've got the different player colors and you can keep all the different ships and the cubes that you need. This little bit here is a bit fiddly because it doesn't come out, but it has all the different ship modifications and the flags. So lots of little bits. It's a shame it doesn't come out. The other downside really is that there's no base to the insert to maximize space, but it does mean that tokens can get underneath other parts of the insert. And if that happens, it's just a bit of a tricky thing to get them back out again. This one does remove. So here you would keep your gold and the different ships for the Navy and other pirates. And it's made with a really nice wood, this one. It feels like it's actually proper wood. It looks a lot nicer and it's definitely very sturdy. But I just wish that the tokens were stored in a slightly easier to use way, that they didn't get stuck under the insert sometimes, and that tray could be removed. Because whilst it's nice to be able to remove this and have somewhere to keep the gold, I think this would be even more important. Wooden inserts are sturdy, but they're also really heavy. If you want something less heavy, then foam core is a good option. I got this one from Top Shelf Gamer. It's made by Insert Here. This one's for Champions of Midgard, specifically for the bigger box that came with a Kickstarter that fits in all the expansion content. And you've got these trays. Everything's removable in this. So this one probably wouldn't have it out on the table because it's so wide, but it just keeps in all the different tiles you're going to need at the start of the game and the character boards and stuff like that. Then you've got all the different character colors, so you can keep in all the meeples. This one's great, keeps in all the dice, so you can keep the dice wherever you want. And of course it has room for all the expansion dice. You've got some more dice in this one, and then all the tokens that come with the expansions. Nicely fits in the custom stuff. So you've got these custom glory tokens and food and wood. And then you've got this card tray that will fit all the cards in premium sleeves. So you've got the trolls and the monsters and that, and then the smaller cards in this one. So it's really surprisingly sturdy. I really like the look of the black foam core. It's nicer to touch than the wood as well. I just prefer it as a material, and the fact that it's all been custom made to fit all the different bits in is definitely a bonus. They're as light as a normal insert, so really portable, and I originally thought they would break easily, but I found them to be surprisingly sturdy. This is an insert I found on Etsy for Bogle Brothers. Quite incredible, really. Bogle Brothers is such a small box, and if you own it, you'll know it's quite tricky to get everything back in the box. So the fact that they can fit an insert in there and sort everything out at the same time is pretty clever. So you've got spots for the dice here on the side, and it's also engraved, tells you where things go, and then spots for all the different tokens. So you could just have this tray out whilst you're playing the game, and so you can just grab, you've got the safe tokens and the stealth tokens and everything that you need, but all separated up into the spots. Then here, this is where all the meeples are kept. So you've got the guards, and then you've got the different character meeples. Some spots to slot in the walls, but they're slotted in lengthways, so that's quite nice. And also all the tiles, so they all just fit in snugly. There would be no way to kind of divide them up. And then you've just got the rule book down the side, and then you've just got this tray that goes back on, and it's nice and light. Doesn't make the box any bigger. So really, it's a no-brainer if you just want an easier way to sort out your Bogle Brothers box, and it's really affordable as well. Pre-built inserts tend not to be cheap because you're paying for man hours, but if you've not got the time or patience to be gluing inserts together, then Insert Here is a great option. Folded Space make more affordable foam core inserts, which you have to put together yourself. This is the Mysterium insert from Folded Space. Interesting with Mysterium, it actually came with a really nice insert that stored all the stuff, but then as soon as they released expansions and you want to fit in cards, especially if you want to sleeve those cards, then it becomes a real problem. And then you've got a bunch of trays. So you've got all the different character stuff. So you have your little crystal ball in with your voting tokens in these trays that come out. Then you've got the cards in big trays. So you can just have them out on the table. I really like that they've got this slot here, so they're easy to pick up. Fits in all the premium sleeves. And this has got both expansions plus the base game, so everything's fitting in nicely. Then you've got the big cards for the murderer that go out on the table, another tray for those. Of course, you don't really need those out, but it's nice to have trays for them. This actually comes with these stickers, which is just a nice way for you to label each of the trays so you know where to put things back. And what's interesting about this, it's got a nice finish to the foam core. It's like a smooth grey, so looks nice as well. So the folded space ones, you've got to make them yourself. You're going to have to glue them together. Generally pretty sturdy. I have found, maybe because of my craftsmanship, that once or twice some bits didn't quite stay how I wanted. Some of these lips at the end of the card things probably just needed re-gluing because I wasn't holding it for long enough when it was drying, stuff like that. I really like the look of them, and they're very affordable too. That is the folded space insert for Mysterium. Of course, if nobody's made one, you can always make your own. It's fairly cheap and painless, and there's loads of guides online. I've done it a couple of times, and it's fine, but it just takes a while, and my results tend to be not as good.
I'm all about that artisan handmade foam core, soft like your mum who wished you came home more. Wooden ones are tougher than a stone floor, but harder to follow than Game of Thrones lore. Leave you feeling like Hodor by a closed door. Why are you fixing a games house, not your own more? Let's remember what inserts are known for, what I rely on to keep my scones pure.
The last option is plastic, custom molded plastic. This Game Trays one for Brewcrafters is a godsend. Plastic can be so much more specific and intricate. For a game with lots of small bits that need to be separated, it's the perfect solution. This is the Game Trays insert for Brewcrafters. This is one of the more snug inserts that I have. I do struggle to get the box closed on this, but the actual insert itself, and in terms of the organization on the table, is incredible. So every tray has this unclippable lid, so it keeps everything in its space. And so these are all the different beers that you can play with. The cards just kind of slot in at the end. There isn't really a space for them, but there aren't loads of cards in the game, and you will just select a few for the setup of that particular game. But as you can see, there just are some tokens that weren't really accounted for, or at least I was struggling to fit them back in. The stuff that is accounted for are the tiles that you can buy to improve your brewery. And these have these wonderful things underneath that basically mean that to pick one up, you just kind of push down on it. So everything fits into its bit really neatly and beautifully, but they're really easy to get out as well. So these are all the different upgrades that you can get for your brewery. And then you've got the spots here to keep all of the different cubes, and these are all the ingredients. So you've got like the malt and the hops and stuff. These are the everyday beers that you're going to have in every time you play the game. And then you've got cash. There's actually 2 trays like this. It's quite ingenious that they've done it twice so that you could have it up 2 ends of the table, so that you can have one near you and one near the other players. And then there's just space left in the box for all the different boards, because there's a lot of player boards and different boards in the game. The downside really being that, yeah, I struggled to cram it all in, and then I've put all the meeples in loose because I just couldn't get them in otherwise. But I think what I'll have to do is unsleeve the cards, and then I can probably get the meeples into little baggies. So really incredible for the table organization, this one. Of course, it looks great on the table. Brewcrafters, if you've ever played, is a really beastly game to set up, but also to store. I used to have like 20 different baggies in this game, and now it's like this. It makes it so much easier to set up, and you don't really put it away because everything is just stored in its tray. But it's a lot rarer. Game trays only sell a handful, but they're so good that publishers are starting to commission them to make ones for their games. There are loads of options out there for improving how you store your games. I like to use a bit of each depending on the game. Big special games like Battlestar Galactica deserve a fancy insert that can organize all its expansion content, but it means I don't travel with it often. And if you're not playing it that often, is it worth the extra expense that could go on a new game? There are links to where you can buy all the accessories mentioned in the description below. If you found this video helpful, then please consider helping me make more videos like this at patreon.com/Actualol. And if you like this video, please subscribe to see more. I'm Jon Purkis, thanks for watching.